This video is brought to you by Sony. Learn what happens when artists meet engineers.
Hey guys, what's going on? It is Roth and Jen here, talking about one of my favorite shows on TV right now, True Detective. I want you to watch it. Here's why. Let's set it up a little bit, Jim. You're doing the reviews.
I'm doing the reviews. I also want you to watch it.
No, we sound like an infomercial, but I really like this show.
It's great.
So here's the basic premise if you're not already on board. These are two detectives, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. That is Detective Hart and Detective Rust Cole. Now, here's the basic premise. The show sort of traces three different timelines. The first timeline is in 1995, when they're solving sort of a cult-like murder. The second timeline is 2001, where the two men have a big rift. We're not sure why yet. Then the third timeline is 2012, where there's been a murder that's very, very similar to the one that they already solved in 95. And they've been brought in by the police to discuss the crime that they solved in 95. And the question,
did they solve it?
Or did they solve it? That's the question. So it's sort of like a three-tiered mystery. Each one is equally engaging. Well, let's talk about a few of the reasons why we think you should be watching the show. Break them down really quickly. Performance, direction, the writing, basically everything that you can go into a TV show.
Right. All those key elements they actually excel at in spades and in each department. Performance-wise, okay, so we have Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. And as everyone will tell you, he's had a hell of a year both on the big screen and now on the small screen. One of the great things about this is that either of these guys could have played the other guy's role.
We've talked about this a lot in the office, that we would love to see a world where, like in a play, they could just flip characters and we could see them take on the other character. It'd be fascinating. But they're amazing in these characters, and it's different than anything that you've maybe seen from them before.
Particularly McConaughey.
McConaughey in particular, they asked him to play Harrelson's part initially. He said, no, I know this guy. I want to play this very dark character. Man, he digs in there. He plays the hell out of this guy. Talk a little bit about it.
It works, too, because we're used to seeing him play the more conventional guy, and Woody play the more off-kilter guy.
And more jovial.
And more jovial. And now we're getting a chance to see a McConaughey who it basically strips himself of whatever vanity he used to have as a leading man, and plays a guy who is not exactly the life of the party. He's a bleak existentialist, very intellectual, very dark guy with a tragic recent past.
Absolutely. McConaughey in this role, he kind of makes an existential crisis badass somehow, and entertaining to watch unfold. His basic premise on the world is that humanity is an evolutionary mistake. Doesn't that sound fun to watch? But it is. It's fascinating, because the idea is that he's got this very bleak, unlikable worldview. Woody Harrelson's character sort of like plays by the rules. You know, he's outwardly a family man. He's a guy that you like. But underneath that, how is their behavior really informing?
Right. And there's a bit of a lie that Woody's character is kind of living by. And that's something that causes tension between the partners, because McConaughey will call him out on his bull. And Harrelson's character you're beginning to see the cracks in this guy the more the show goes along. But I think, this is really a testament to the quality of the writing on this show.
Absolutely, and that's what I wanted to get into next, because, again, we won't say too much more about what they're tasked with, but it's a challenge that they've each been giving, and man, they're playing into it beautifully. And you get to see them, again, over a series of years, so we get to see how these characters have changed dramatically, and we get to see the actors play that out. Talking about the writing a little bit, what's beautiful is that it's a multi-tiered mystery. Each one is engaging, like I said, but also the conversation, the level of characterization. These are very complicated men.
Yeah.
These are fascinatingly complicated men.
Yeah.
And they have a fascinatingly complicated relationship. How many times can I say that? 3. I just did.
But what it does, too, because of the level of the writing and the fact that there's a uniformity to each episode because it's the same writer and director, that it's basically like long-form cinema. So you're getting to spend all this time with the same group of people, the same vision for each thing, and you're seeing this play out and pay off as you go along.
Listen, you guys, there's a beautiful sense of tone to this. There is a cohesive sense to this, because it is the same writer and the same director for all 8 episodes. And that's what I finally want to say. This is only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
This is an anthology series that will reboot next season with a different story, with a different set of actors, like American Horror Story, only unlike American Horror Story, which has the American Horror Story players who repeat. These will probably be new actors.
Yeah.
But this is limited sort of commitment here. You got an 8-hour movie that you get to watch in installments. I can't recommend it enough. I want you to watch it. Tell us in the comments if you're watching it, what you're liking, what you're not. Go out and watch it and come back and engage.
Look, if you like procedurals, cop shows, there's plenty of that in there. If you like character studies, plenty of that. If you like stuff about occult serial killers, it's got that. If you like Louisiana, it's got that. It's got everything you want. If you
Naked ladies.
It does have that. But yes, it's a fantastic show. Great show. It's on Sundays on HBO.
It's on Sunday nights on HBO. And listen, I know I'm sort of being a little bit light here, but I really think there's a lot of depth to this series. We're going to get into that maybe a little later on a podcast. Right now, just go and watch it. Let us know what you think.